Meeting's called to order at 7:03 p.m. by Board President Josh Bowen. Members present: Angie Byrne, Chris Boyer, and Steve Nix.
There are two chairs over there. I think we'll just take the one and make a chair in the middle.
The proposed budget and each of the tax levy funds, summaries of capital project plan and bus replacement plan have been duly posted on North Harrison Community Schools website. A notice of a public hearing has been electronically submitted through Gateway. So is there any public comments that want to be made about the budget, the bus replacement plan? No comments? Any discussion?
No.
Budget hearing. Recommended that the meeting be adjourned at 7:04 p.m. Have a motion for this item.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, now let's start our regular meeting. The October regular meeting is called to order at 7:05 p.m. by Board President Josh Bowen, members present: Angie Burns, Steve Nix, Chris Boyer. Adoption of the agenda. It's recommended that the agenda for the October 16th, 2025 budget hearing and regular meeting be approved as presented with additions, corrections, or deletions as recommended by the board. Can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Approval of minutes. It's recommended that the minutes from the September 11th, 2025 budget hearing, September 11th, 2025 regular meeting, September 18th, 2025 public hearing regarding collective bargaining, and September 18th, 2025 executive session be approved as presented. Can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make a motion.
Steve?
I'll second.
Chris? Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Participation at school board meeting, public comments. We have a question.
If they'd like to come up right next to the table.
Okay, they'll be seen on the screen.
We can see, correct? Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Right
Over to that
approach,
bulletin board.
State your name and you have 3 minutes.
Yes.
Is it on back there?
I can use my teacher voice, I'm good. I just wanna make sure it's heard, yeah. Good? Okay, I'm Megan Crocher, and I teach at North Harrison Elementary, 4th grade. As a lifelong resident of Harrison County, going back several generations actually, I'm proud to say that I'm a teacher at North Harrison Elementary. Over the last 18 years I have taught, I have witnessed many changes in our corporation, some positive and some negative. I have paid union dues the majority of my career because I want to be a leader and learn about the process of education. I serve on various committees each year and try my best each and every day to be an encouraging colleague to my fellow teachers and staff at NHE. As a community member, parent of 2 students at the high school, and a teacher in the North Harrison community, it is time that we demand better. Ultimately, our children are the ones who suffer when our teacher pay scale cannot be met as outlined. As a community, is that the message we want to send? Property taxes are something I hear a lot about, and I'm not going to pretend to know much about the ins and outs. But I know that many people in this room, business owners, farmers, and elected officials, including our school board members, do. I trust that those who are knowledgeable and make decisions do so with the best of intentions. Is it time for those property taxes to increase so that in turn, our schools can have an opportunity to improve? What I do know a lot about is loving, nurturing, and educating children. Teaching is more than a job. It's a calling, and it truly is my life's work. I can promise you that teachers do not come to work every day because of the paycheck we receive. To be honest, I should find another career where I feel valued, trusted, and compensated for the work I do each day. Throughout this bargaining season, my prayer, yes, prayer multiple times, has been that our administration, board members, and community will find a way to make North Harrison Community Schools the best place to work and raise a family. I remember hearing one of our elected school board members clearly say at a community forum before he was elected that he would make sure that teacher pay increased. Don't feel like that end of the bargain is being held up. I'm not going anywhere because, as Ken Opal would say, I bleed blue. This is my home. This is my small town. However, I know that many teachers and other staff members will have no choice but to find better jobs with better pay and benefits, and it probably will not be North Harrison.
Oh, okay, she's way more eloquent than I am. I probably should have gone first.
Sorry.
You all probably appreciated that better. I'm getting a FaceTime from my grandkid. It's not gonna happen. My name is Chuck Walker. I've been teaching at North Harrison since 1991. Sounds crazy. I've seen this school system flourish. People in southern Indiana were wishing their children could attend North Harrison. Always leading the pack in state test scores and overall success. Then for whatever reason, teachers began to be under attack. These times had affected the morale around the campus at an all-time low. This was about 2005. So our staff was suddenly, seemed to be worth nothing. It went 8 years without a working contract. We later accepted minimal stipends for those years. For many of us, that was the prime work years for us to save for retirement, families, etc. Our teachers took a financial hit, but over the years we've begun to regain the morale around the school. Salaries have moderately stabilized in the past. Moderately. Staff has knowingly given up financial gain to help students from our community on many occasions for different programs and everything. We realized other things had to happen besides teacher pay. It's not the only thing. But that trend, well, let's see here, kind of lost the spot. Staying at North Harrison, for some of us, became a choice, even though we could have, experienced some greener pastures maybe elsewhere. But that trend has obviously started to change. Teachers are leaving, it seems like, and continually talk about it. It's just a negative vibe. Teachers and students alike, I say students also, are leaving our school system. When you can travel 10 miles one way or 30 minutes another to impact students the same way you can at North Harrison, for younger people especially, that's a no-brainer. Younger teachers are leaving. Older teachers might even begin to stay longer to work to make up the difference in pay that they maybe aren't getting from their for their retirement. Seems like the wrong result for most school systems. That wouldn't be what we would be looking for. Would be the younger ones leaving and the older ones staying. My wife's taught 3 years less than me, and she makes about $8,000 more at West Washington than I do. pays less than $100 a month on her insurance premiums. I'd like that. Enrollments are beginning or continue to climb at her school. No, that's not the only school. That screams that there must be a problem here if our enrollment continues to decline. Our enrollment continues to decline yearly. I know as a result of many of the sad, pathetic bills that our state legislature continues to pass that continues to hamper public education. But nonetheless, that's the hand we're dealt. Last and most importantly, if we've got $3 or $4 million in the education fund, according to the notes that I've seen in around August, I believe, then I just don't understand, how it's that difficult to give the teachers a fair shot, fair contract. Please enlighten us on that. I know we've wasted about $220,000 in administrative buyouts in the last couple of years, so there's a nice raise for 126 teachers. It normally wouldn't be a problem for me to see people and colleagues flourish financially as long as my teaching colleagues and myself were also receiving a fair share. But to watch money getting spent, guaranteed at 3.3 to 8%, it's a hard pill for us to swallow, or at least it is for me. Again, it seems like teachers are always the ones to shoulder the burden. Teachers at North Harrison have earned and deserve more respect than that.
Good evening. I'm Kate Rowe. I've been a teacher at North Harrison for 4 years, or going on 4 years. My employment at North Harrison is directly responsible for the enrollment of 6 students, 4 of whom are here today. They're my husband's. Our students range from 4th to 10th grade. I hold undergraduate degrees in political science, Spanish, theology, and a master's degree in special education. I'm a special education teacher of record. I teach English, and I've also spent 3 years teaching German at North Harrison High School. I'm licensed to teach K-12, fine arts as well. I sponsor the high school student council, so many of whom are here today. It has grown to 55 members, volunteering and learning the leadership and representative process, and participating through the committee system in which they plug in where they're most engaged. We've hosted every non-prom dance in the last 4 years, every student-led assembly celebrating North Harrison, school spirit, competitions, prizes, and are one of several main contributing groups that organize our annual Veterans Day Assembly. I was a member of the STEM committee, whom you know were successful, along with our entire staff, in getting the high school STEM certified by the state of Indiana last year, and I coached volleyball at the middle school in 2023. This is a lot, but at North Harrison, this is not uncommon at all. The head of the high school parent-teacher organization is a teacher at Morgan Elementary. The head of our renowned archery program is a teacher at North Harrison Elementary and accounts for 4 enrolled students. Our ag department runs a very large and successful FFA and accounts for the enrollment of another 6 North Harrison students collectively. We are not simply the teachers. We are the parents. We are the grandparents, the aunts, and the uncles of the students. We live locally, sponsor enrichment clubs, coach teams, run massive programs, drive buses, and support students in every imaginable way. Over the last 5 years, housing prices have increased by 50%. Electric bills are up 17.5%. Car prices, which we're all going to need at some point, are up 30%. Over the last 5 years, however, our pay scale has only increased 14.8%, although our paychecks have not followed trend year to year because we've not received consistent raises, and our insurance eats away what little we get or more. We cannot expect anyone to move to our community to afford to make a living as a teacher. We also cannot expect our own teachers to stay here when the only way to keep up is to get a second job, as many of us have. Not only is our teaching contract one of the least attractive in the surrounding area, but it shows a consistent loss in the face of inflation. You are monetarily demoting us. Please tell us what part of our collective performance is congruent with demotion. We are not North Harrison School Corporation, we are North Harrison Community School Corporation, and we, your teachers, are a huge part of this community. A demotion for our teachers is a demotion for the parents, and the entire support system for our students, for we are that system. A demotion for our teachers is a demotion for the community itself. Please, I'm asking that you work to meet the state regulation scale increase and make our wages competitive. Please consider treating us fairly in accordance with the certifications, quality of instruction, and consistency we provide. You depend on us to assess and reward fairly. We are asking you to do the same.
My name is Nathan Unger. I have students at the elementary, the middle school, the high school, and I'm currently not getting paid because I'm a federal employee, so I feel you all's pain. Everyone should be compensated appropriately for the work that they put in, and I know that a lot of these teachers go above and beyond what they're required to do. I specifically moved here because of the special ed program, and I have 4 students with an IEP. So please find a way to appropriately compensate the people who work the hardest for the future of this country. Secondly, there was a semi-confusing article in the Clarion News concerning Harrison County not funding school resources officers. As a law enforcement officer, first and foremost, the priority of every school should be the safety of their students. School resource officers are your front line against any type of attack, whether an active shooter from outside or from within. Second, in this current environment, law enforcement is just consistently bombarded as a bad person. You have SROs who are coming through the school, providing a positive influence for all of your students to try and help for a better community at the end of the day. So I would like to know if the SRO program is going to continue and how that's going to be funded. Thank you.
Excuse me while I step over all of my not children. Good evening. I am Jennifer Gordon, the middle school and high school band director here at North Harrison. First off, I want to start off by saying these are marching band members down here. The rest of my band is currently at the football stadium getting ready for the 5th consecutive state finals appearance. I felt that this was important enough to step out of my own rehearsal, and these children felt it important enough to come here and support what we do every day. As I said, this is my 5th year at North Harrison. I came here from West Washington. When I came here, I received a pay increase of about $6,000 prior to the band stipends. And now to hear that my prior employer is paying significantly more is a bit of a slap in the face. I am speaking tonight to ask for the school board administration to listen to the collective bargaining team for the minimum they are asking for. We work hard because we care for these students. We work hard because we want North Harrison to continue to be known for academic and sports and musical and all other greatness. We work hard because we love this community, and this community loves us. Yours truly was actually in the Democrat yesterday because this community loves us. Anything less of listening to what our bargaining team has brought forth is a slap in the face to the countless hours beyond the school day that we all put into this job. I can't have my own kids. I had a hysterectomy a few years ago. These are my kids. I have found a home here, and I take care of each one of these kids because I love them. We are not pennies. We are not dollars on a spreadsheet. We are people. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel Landry, and I am also entering my 4th year here at North Harrison, although I had no prior experience. This is my very first teaching career, and hopefully a long one here at Harrison, although I'm some things to consider there. I am one of the youngest teachers at North Harrison at 27 years old, and overall, I've genuinely enjoyed the experience being here. I graduated from North Harrison in 2016, so I already had actually a relationship with many of the staff members that are there. And working with the students every day, I've greatly enjoyed the experience to the point where, honestly, I look forward to going into work every day. I even brag about my job to my friends. I'm really happy with it. That all being said, it's not an uncommon thing for people in their 20s to make some financial decisions early in their life that they come to regret a little bit later on. And between some of the issues we face with collective bargaining and a few other things that have happened in my life recently, I've begun to wonder, is the financial mistake of my 20s choosing to work here at North Harrison? For instance, if I just look around the surrounding area and look at some of the other teaching careers that are available, I've heard through the grapevine, Gordon schools, their teachers are likely to get a base pay of around $51,000 per year very soon. Compare that to our base pay of $43,000 per year. That's $8,000 per year that I am giving up every single year just by teaching at North Harrison. For a young person especially, if I'm going to be in this career for at least 10 years, that's $80,000 I'm just leaving on the table simply because I chose to work here. For a young person like me, who is currently living with their grandparents, by the way, because frankly, I'm not entirely certain I could afford my own place just yet, that's a lot of money just to leave on the table. This is not even considering the effects it might have on my retirement down the line, although frankly, I'm still just trying to figure out where I'm going to live, not even thinking of it. So, due to financial pressure and schedule changes at the high school this year, frankly, I am for the first time in my career considering looking into other options, which is a difficult statement for me to make, but a truthful one. Along those same lines, I would think that if I am a young teacher and I am considering looking elsewhere just because of financial pressures, then other young teachers have to be thinking something similar. Young teachers are vital to a school district. They bring fresh perspectives that, and students very often have an easier time relating with them simply because they're closer in age. And if I were fresh out of college and I was looking into a teaching job in this area, and I saw that all of my other options in the area were better from a financial perspective, I'd have a hard time justifying the decision to come to North Harrison in the first place. All that to say, I think that if you're going to attract and retain young teachers, we're going to have to increase the base pay. Thank you.
Hi. This is really difficult for me because I can teach in front of kids all day long, but then seeing the faces of my peers, very nerve-wracking. But if you know me, if I'm gonna say something, that means it's really important. I always tell my kids, I don't talk to hear myself talk because I hate actually talking. So good evening, guys. Thank you for coming in and doing this. My name is Brian Morton. I've taught here and only here at North Harrison for 11 years, since 2014. I am a daughter of a teacher who taught for 40 years in the South Harrison district. And I can remember back when I told her my sophomore year of high school that I wanted to be a teacher, she said, "Are you sure?" And she showed me her paycheck and was like, I don't do it for the money, but I do it for the kids. And then looking back on it, what she got paid was still better than what we in here compared to what we have in inflation now. So I hold both a bachelor's in special education and a master's in computer science and technology. I am now working at the high school, which I love, through the CTE program. Hopefully building our computer science program and getting some more students into that. I'm highly trained. I'd like to say I'm experienced. I still see myself as a big kid, but teaching 10 years kind of makes you experienced, so my mom says. I've dedicated over a decade to serving these students and families in this district. I actually live out of district and have chosen to come here because of the community. because of the great things that I had heard of the people. My husband also works for North Harrison. He's the ISS teacher at the middle school and absolutely adores working here. So if you work with my husband, he loves you guys. And both of our children, 8 and 5, both attend North Harrison Elementary, in a school that they truly love, with educators that go above and beyond for their students. Tonight, in fact, I shared with his teacher that on one of his homework papers, he wrote at the bottom of his writing, P.S. I love my teacher. So, despite all of my education and my experience, I've had to take on a second job just to make ends meet. 3 days a week, I now work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I also work on Saturdays, but that doesn't include additional training that I do for my career because it's important to me 2 nights a week from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That makes 2 of my 5 school days 14 hours long. That means long hours away from my family, losing the quality time every parent deserves, especially in those formative years. I'm giving up time that I need to be with them, not even counting those that I need to rest and recharge to be my best for these people here. Most days, I would say actually now all days, I work well beyond my contracted hours. I recognize that that is a choice that I make, but I do it because I love it. Last year, our children of 2 North Harrison educators, qualified for free and reduced lunch. Think about that for a minute. I adore my students and I absolutely love this school. And I'm fiercely proud of what I do for my students and for North Harrison. But no full-time, dual degree professional should have to have a second job simply to afford to keep doing the work that is in their heart. Our passion as educators shouldn't come at the cost of our livelihood or our dignity. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, we're gonna have a list of 10, so we have 3 more speakers.
I'll try to keep this brief. My name is Lori Schmidt. I started teaching in 1993-ish, and I taught in a different school corporation for 1 year, and after that 1 year, I had determined that I chose the wrong profession. And in the fall of the very next year, not at the beginning of the school year, but in the middle of the semester, I got hired on at North Harrison for 2 periods a day, part-time. And that was the best thing that probably ever happened to me, because I refound my love of teaching, I refound my love of kids and students, and I have been at North Harrison ever since. And I teach much more than just 2 periods a day now. I've seen a lot of things change. Just like Chuck said, I've seen a lot of things change in the last 30 years. And we spent a good 10 years in some sad, sad years. They were rough years. But I stuck it out. A lot of us stuck those years out. And somebody asked me last year, so when are you going to retire? I said, I don't know. I'm able now. But it really depends upon what this administration does. Because I don't want to live through another 7 or 8 years like we did about a decade ago. I also want to add to what Daniel said about attracting young teachers. We had 2 young teachers at the high school last year. One quit after the 2nd week of the 2nd semester, and we never found a replacement for her last semester. We had a long-term sub in that room for the rest of the year, and she did a great job, but she wasn't a trained educator. About 3 weeks after that, we had a special ed teacher quit, and there was never a replacement for her until this year. They had 3 instructional assistants oversee that room. We can't attract young talent. unless they're born and bred here. And the thing is, looking at retirement and knowing that my Social Security and my retirement is gonna reflect the last 5 years' salary, if we can't come to an agreement that benefits the rest of my life as well, I'm also, us at the top of the pay scale, are gonna have to look elsewhere as well. So not only will you not be attracting young talent, but your older teachers are also gonna have to look for a more beneficial place to be to end their career. And that's not what I wanna do.
Good evening. My name is James Ike, and I'm a choral music teacher here. And the word is veteran teacher, not older.
I'm old. I'm sorry. You're older.
So there you go. So I get to use a different word. Okay. So I represent a staff member that went through those tough years, the 2005 RIFs. I was one of the ones that was ripped. And that was the last time I spoke in front of a school board meeting. I held in my hands that night a gold plaque that our middle school choir had just received. The choir had, for the first time in the history of North Harrison Middle School, received a gold plaque in Group 1. That plaque is hanging on the wall in the middle school choir room. It's followed by, the next year after I was let go, a silver in Group 2, and then the year after that, a silver in Group 3. And then 7 years went by when there was no choral music program represented at the state from North Harrison. Until after about, there was another band director who kind of filled in and did choir, and he brought that back. And he, as a matter of fact, called me in 2015. I was working at the time on the west side of Louisville in JCPS. I understand that contracts and that the money situation this is what we have. And as it stands, where it's at, because I've been told the numbers, that we are not going to be able to be fiscally sound with that through this year. That there will be some issues with paying off the last couple of months. Your hands seem to be tied, but that means that I don't know who it was that said first. We got to consider some other issues with tax-based things and so forth. We've just got to do that. Being a veteran teacher also, this is what I do in the classroom. In the classroom, my kids know that we're expected to go in Group 1. Before I came, North Harrison School was considered where choral music was concerned. We're just North Harrison. I get contacts now from the director at Floyd Central, who recommended me in our school to represent the Indiana Choral Directors Association Zone 8. Our school is recognized in the state for our choral music. 2016, I went to Corden High School and helped some kids put together a song, a piece of music to dedicate to their director, the choral director there. His name is Daniel Suddarth. 2016, they lost Daniel Suddarth, he retired. Corden Central High School does not have a high school concert choir. Lanesville has got one music person, K through 12. I'm not sure what's at South Central. I don't know so I don't know about the other Harrison County schools, but I do know this. We have the best. And that's what I expect from my kids on a daily basis. And I would not expect anything less from the efforts made to find out the answer to this problem. I consider it an embarrassing problem for our school corporation from you guys. Is that fair enough? That's all I'm asking.
Hello, I'm Austin Ward, and I'm currently a senior here at North Harrison. And I'm here tonight to help voice concerns about teacher wages and to support our essential educators. Everyone here in this room can probably name at least one influential teacher who has changed their lives for the better. Teachers are so much to communities around the country, not just to ours. They're parents, mentors, coaches, and oftentimes the only person a student may feel comfortable enough to share parts of their lives with. Teachers take on so much responsibility outside of educating. They offer guidance, support, and love to every student who walks through their doors. They are quick to sacrifice their own time and money to see to it that every student is taken care of. Through my many years now of education, there have been two things that have been made very clear time and time again. Number one, teachers are a fundamental pillar of our children's lives and our community that they serve in. And number two, they are underrepresented, underpaid, and underappreciated. It only seems responsible that we respect their request for something as simple as a raise in wages. We need to step up and support these people who are so influential to our society and students. I want to be able to leave North Harrison knowing that the ones who took care of us are going to be taken care of. I hope that you come to the right decision and you can help.
My name is Carly Alvey. I'm
We're
a
done.
senior.
Sorry.
Are you serious?
I have a question about that.
No.
There is not a law that says there only 10 people can talk. Let her
We
speak.
can put a limit.
It says
Okay.
public comment.
Okay.
We are the public.
Just a
Heads
heads
up,
up, this man here is up for re-election next year. He's up for re-election next
You're
year.
out of order.
Keep that in your keep
No,
that in
it's
mind.
not.
Here's what's gonna
It's not
happen.
out
You're
of
gonna talk. We're gonna listen, whether they choose to.
Go ahead, Carly. Go ahead, Carly. Go ahead, Carly.
My name is Carly Alvey. I'm a senior at North Harrison High School, and I'm not certified in anything. I'm a senior. I'm in 12th grade. I don't have a lot of experience doing anything, but you heard many teachers come up here and talk about everything that they do, and I am in 11 extracurriculars, and I look around this room, and there is not a teacher in here who hasn't impacted my life or lives of the teachers around them. There are 8 class periods in the high school with like anywhere from 10 to 30 students in them. And I'm just one student. Look at all of these students here. Every person, every teacher in this room has had a positive impact, and all of them are worth the respect and to be paid as such. Thanks.
I'm Rebel Rolly, by the way. I wasn't originally going to say anything, and I do not have a script for any of this, but I do want to say that I can look around this room, and I see a lot of different teachers who I wasn't even comfortable being myself a lot of the time. And there's a lot of times where I'd have no friends, there's no one I could talk to, I couldn't even talk to my dad a lot of the time, okay? And there's teachers here who supported me, that in all that time helped me be myself again, and are just there for me when my dad isn't. And to know that they aren't getting the pay that they deserve, and these teachers who are only here for the students now, they can't support themselves, they can't afford to live anymore, to know that that's happening when they've done so much for me, it's sad, and it upsets me, and I'm sure it upsets everyone here, just to know that these influential people aren't being respected. And I think that we really need to consider their pay and all that they do for us. Thank
I'm sorry, everybody knows me.
Hey, 3 minutes.
I'll try to keep it. I spoke in June, I think, when Mr. Freed was retiring, or no, left, I guess. And there was about maybe a tenth of the number of people there. So I'm gonna say some of the same things I said then, was that my big concern for the longest time is just teachers are leaving. And there's a reason for it. And bottom line is probably pay. And almost everybody here in this room knows I've been a Reds fan my entire life. And I would go play for them in a millisecond. And I'm proud to be part of the staff. Dang it, I don't want to be the Cincinnati Reds of the education world in southern Indiana, where we get great people, good players for our team, and we let them go to someplace else. And I'm wondering, why do we allow that? How does this happen? You know, I went through the riff in people going like Jim went through the riff. You know, it hurt. I saw one of my best friends lose his job, right? He was next door down the hall, and it hurt. I didn't want to see anybody. And I almost thought about leaving at that time. There was a middle school position at my home school in Jasper. My father-in-law was a teacher there. My foot was in the door. I could have left, but I didn't. I wanted to be here. I was a Jasper Wildcat for 18 years of my life. But I've been a Cougar since 1997. So I've been a Cougar for more of my years of my life than I have been a Jasper Wildcat. You know? And I always tell my wife, you better not bury me in a tie. I've never told her, put me in a Cougar shirt. You know, a pair of jeans or whatever. Okay, but I'm so concerned. And one thing I heard, and I don't know if this is true, and I was hoping some principals would be able to answer this question. If I heard this just yesterday or today, that we had 0 applicants turned away this summer for positions. Is that true? Where we had teacher openings and basically we ran out of people to choose from because we only had so many applicants. I don't know. I wish I knew if that was true or not. Because I remember a time where, that's true. That is so much embarrassingly, that should never happen. But when I first started, people were scratching to get in. And I said this back in June, they were scratching to get in. Somehow I got in. I was one of those few that was selected, just lucky. And now people are scratching to get out. And that problem, and I told you back in June, has got to be a front burner issue. Beyond safety, it's a first concern for all of our kids, but after that, it's got to be that. There should be nothing else that is more important than trying to solve that problem. Because if it's true, and even if we only had like 5 people that we had to turn away because positions were filled, it's only 5? Oh my God. That's just frightening. And that has got to be a front burner issue. And if it isn't, I would ask anybody on the board, if it's not your front burner issue, just step aside and let somebody come in to take that spot for you and do something about it. It's got to be addressed. Has to be.
Thank you.
As a special education teacher, and to see her get laid off because of the payment that she got and because she just got so disrespected hurts. And I know it hurt her too. And the fact that most of the teachers here that have changed my lives and changed all of these kids' lives, to see them get laid off and disrespected is not fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. A number of students that care more about the teachers and keeping their teachers than they do at being home and playing video games. Take that into real consideration, because I'm sure they have other things they could be doing with their time, but they want their teachers and they don't want to lose them over pay. Thank you guys for coming.
It is recommended that claim numbers 44743 through 44953 be approved as presented. Can I have a motion for this agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Steve, Chris, any questions or comments? Yes.
I have a few questions here. Voucher 44923.
Okay, what is that again?
923.
Yeah.
This is where we share with the co-op. I just want to be 100% sure that we made sure that there were several months last year that we did not have a special ed teacher for the high school. And I just want to be sure that we weren't overpaying or paying a specific amount every quarter and that not being taken into consideration. Is that something we could just look into and verify? So that we're not, I just want to be be sure that we didn't pay for something that we didn't have. Another couple of them that I just wanna bring up is 44,903 and 44,904. I think that one is financial accounting software. Is that maybe for the corporation as a whole? Or it's 44,904 Matrix Integration LLC. Oh, that's
I think
the
that's.
second one.
I think it's corporation level software, but I can verify.
Okay, and then the second one was Microsoft and Intune licenses. For the 21,890.
What was that claim number?
44,904.
Gather. Ms. Byrne, what was the first one you said, 44?
The very first one was 44,903, and then the second one was the one right after it, 44,904.
That's gonna pull back up.
This is for Microsoft for our laptops. So for all staff and any student laptops that have Microsoft on it.
You should talk a little about it.
Okay, so that was for, was that 44,904? Okay,
Yes.
all right. I had thought that it was for Microsoft and licenses, but it's actually for hardware
No, it's licensing for those.
licensing.
Yes.
And then 44,775.
Getting there.
Those, so there were two sets of monitors that we bought. One was for the STEAM lab in the high school, and these, I believe, were staff replacement monitors. I'll have to check on that.
That's all I have.
Any other questions about it? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Approval of payrolls. It is recommended that the regular payrolls for November 7th, 2025 and November 21st, 2025 be approved for payment. Can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. It's recommended that the bank reconciliation from September 30th, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. We have no presentations tonight. Personnel, resignations, and retirement. As listed in the agenda, can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make the motion.
questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Appointments as listed in the agenda. Can I have a motion for this item?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Other items, do you have any discussion items? Informational, late items. Appointment Rhonda Hohen, Corporation Bus Driver, Bus 24, effective October 20th, 2025. Transfer Cheryl C. from NHE Instructional Assistant to Middle School Instructional Assistant, effective October 20th, 2025. Can I have a motion for these late items?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Board member communication. Mr. Steve?
I don't have nothing to say except I heard you.
Order?
How come I typically get myself in trouble every time I talk, so maybe I just ought to keep my mouth shut.
Just say it like it is.
Huh?
Just say it like it is, whatever it is.
Well, that's when I usually get in trouble. So, I hear what you're all saying, and it was very eloquently put. And I kinda wish the kids were still here to hear what I'm about to say, because I think they need to hear this. Some of them may still be here, I don't know. Yeah. So, no matter how many hopes and wishes that we have for what's in our pocketbooks, that's not what puts money in our pocketbooks. We can't give you something we don't have. So, how do you propose we get more of what's supposed to be in there to give you guys? That would be my only question, is where is it supposed to come from?
I would assume the same way you manage your home bills.
Exactly.
You budget it, and then you figure it out.
Okay, so, and that's what this team
If
is
you wanna
trying
give me
to
the
do.
numbers, I'll be happy to look at them.
I think most of those numbers are public numbers.
We have teachers that have had to seek alternative sources of revenue. One spoke tonight. You need to do the same.
Yeah, I've worked 2 jobs most of my life.
Right, but so you need to do that. Exactly what you practiced in your life, you need to do that for this district. You guys need to find alternative sources of revenue. We know taxes are a source, and we know it's not the first choice, but this needs to be done.
Well, I don't doubt that it needs to be done. I think that what you've said tonight kind of proves that. But again, finding that money is very difficult to do. I don't know where it's gonna come from. I think we're in for a long, tough road ahead. That's just me talking. I don't know, I don't have any crystal ball. But I think if you look and judge the facts the way they are, that there's no magic wand anybody's gonna wave.
Then why is it only us? Cause it feels like that.
The other schools pay more. Why
I'm
can't
sorry.
we do the same?
Yeah,
I don't.
What are they doing differently?
that's a good question.
That would be your second job.
For you guys.
Find that out.
That's literally your job.
You guys should know what they're
job.
doing.
To find out what these other corporations are doing in our same size, that are making it work when we're not. That is why you're up there. That is literally your job.
And what you were elected by our community to do. Well, you were.
You asked for that job.
You're right, I did.
You were.
You're right.
And everyone else was elected and ran a platform, and
I showed up one day and threw my name in the hat. You're right, I didn't.
But you were chosen.
I had no idea what I
And there is
was myself.
responsibility that comes with that.
And I'm accepting that responsibility. I'm just typical, like she said.
You know, and one thing I want to say is that if we have, as a school corporation, lost so many students for the past 10 years, why are we losing kids? Where are they going? Yeah, fine, parents have to travel to take a job someplace else, that's true. But we lose kids, they go to Corden, they go to Lanesville, they go to Floyd Central, they go to New Albany, they leave here every day. Why? What are you guys doing about our kids leaving? Because that's a way for us to get revenue, for us to get paid in our salary increases.
That's been a question for months.
So where are these kids going, and why are you guys not looking into retaining our students too?
Why is
As
South
well
Harrison-
as retaining us?
Why is South Harrison getting a $6,000 pay raise for master's degrees this year? They just settled their contract and they're getting $6,000 raise over the next 2 years if you have your master's.
Speaking of over 2 years, I may be misinformed, I don't know. But I believe that last year, we had a plan for this year, and I don't think that plan for this year would have been agreed to if there wasn't something in the budget that made last year's board and negotiating team believe that the money was there to give us those raises. What happened?
Your point, right.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know.
But I will look into it, because that's my job, and I take it seriously.
I think part of it, is we do need to look at where our students are going, and I've looked at that, if you look at over the last 10 years ago, we transferred in more students than we transferred out. And now we're transferring out more students than we're bringing in. So that is the issue, and where the majority of them going, they're going to other schools in our area, they're not being homeschooled. There's a small number that are being homeschooled, but the majority of them are going to other schools.
But why?
So, we're aware of that, and what we can do is, we need to look at how we can attract those students back, or how we can keep those students here. Another thing is, when we get our money for our teachers' wages, it goes into an education fund. We have two different funds. The education fund is for teacher pay and teacher benefits, and it's also for curriculum. So, and when I look at curriculum, we are spending far more than we are getting per student. So we need to look at that. How can we make that better, or how can we change the way, just like I asked these questions about software. How much are we spending on software and Chromebooks, and how does that compare to before? What can we do to decrease that money that we're spending on curriculum? Because that would give us more money in our funds to pay our teachers. And we, just like everyone else, I saw it in the newspaper, just like the gentleman mentioned, we now have to fund all of our CROs. We have 3 now. We have to, SROs, I'm sorry. And we're gonna have to pay for our alternative school now, starting in January. So to finish out the end of the year, that's $70,000 to pay for the alternative school that was previously paid for us. So we have lost some funding that we were used to getting in the past, but we're definitely, I personally am gonna look and see what can we do, or if you have ideas, what can we do as a group to decrease our curriculum and increase our students. That's where that money is.
I have an idea right here. The last 2 budget meetings that I have bothered to attend, of coming to these school board meetings, money was pulled from education funds to operation funds. And I brought that up to you specifically, right?
Yes,
Okay.
you're right.
Did you ever find out why?
It is transferred, and the state
But did
allows.
you find out why? I don't care what the state allows, that's what Free told me too. It
Right.
doesn't matter what the state allows, you guys choose to do it. Why is it needing to be pulled from education to operations? What is being over budgeted in operations that is requiring funds to be pulled from elsewhere? That's part of budgeting you do, just like you do in your home.
Exactly.
When your air conditioner breaks in your house, do you take it out of the food budget to fix?
Actually, my AC/heat pump has been out for the last 2 years. What I did is I got the furnace fixed to provide heat, and I opened my freaking windows and turned on box fans to keep the house cool. I find a way, because ramen noodles are cheaper than lean cuisine meals or anything else, but
State
guess
says
what,
you
I
can
buy
do
a lot of
things.
those too.
Yeah, the state says you can do things,
The only-
you can't do other things.
I'm retired educator for the towns.
Okay.
The answer to the question is because the operations fund is funded by property taxes, and that pays for all the non-instructional, non-educational costs of the school corporation, things like transportation, utilities on the school. The property taxes aren't sufficient to cover all those expenses, so the state allows it to transfer money from the education fund to the operations fund. I've never seen a school corporation that I've audited, it doesn't do that, but the amounts vary from school corporation to school corporation. I don't know, Harrison's more or less than other area schools per student, but it is typical. That way you won't have
And
to
that
go-
money's gone.
Thank you.
No, thank you very much.
I appreciate an answer that gives me some more information.
Well, wait, you know.
So when you said, about the education fund and curriculum, so that's telling the teachers then, and I've told them this, every time you ask for IXL to help your kids, you're hurting your pocketbook when you choose to do that. Am I right in saying that? I'm not a superintendent, I don't know how the budgets work either. But, so you're basically saying it's for curriculum and for teacher pay, so every time the fourth grade teachers all say, we need to keep IXL for our kids, well, and the superintendent comes and says, well, it's gonna cost us $60,000, that's just $60,000 less than the education fund, right?
It comes out of
So,
the
we
same
need to
fund.
make sure we spread that word.
And I
We
don't
gotta
want-
make a choice,
I
you
don't-
gotta make a choice.
I don't want the teachers not to have what they need.
I know, but that's, I mean,
So there are
I mean,
some.
our effective tax rate has been the same for 10 years. I mean, we actually decreased it last year. Why are we decreasing our property tax rate when we clearly need more money in the operations fund? Because like he said, I know how it works. I know why we're pulling money out of education into ops. And the bad thing is you can't put ops back into education. Once you pull it, it's there. So why do we keep decreasing our tax rate to keep our taxpayers happy when our teachers are more important than our taxpayers?
And I think that, we're gonna be looking at, and I think Mr. LaGrange has it set up, that we're gonna be looking at a long-term plan for maintaining the buildings we have, and that is the money that comes out of operations, is maintaining what we have. I don't think we have any plans for expanding anything. It's more importantly about it, maintaining what we have. And he has someone coming to meet with us, next month on that, so that we can have a budget, and we can understand where we are, and then perhaps we can pull less out. That would be a goal, to pull less out to take to the operations fund.
I have a question. As I mentioned in my speech, or whatever you want to call it, I didn't call you out, Mr. Nix, but I do have a question directly for you, if you'll answer that. I clearly remember you stating at the community forum held at Milltown, at the Frenchtown Firehouse, before you were elected, that you planned, your main goal, what you ran your platform on, was that property taxes would not be raised and teachers would receive more
Let
pay.
me stop you right
Okay,
there.
I'm just curious, that's how I remember
never
it.
said property taxes wouldn't be raised.
Okay.
That was not me. Someone did at that meeting.
Okay.
But I knew the ultimate, I know what's gonna happen. So,
Okay,
on the tax thing, that's not me.
okay.
And I do think the teachers need all we can give them. But I hope you understand, we're doing that.
Yeah, we don't wanna
So
see
we're-
what happened before, where we had 4 million in the budget, like you all were talking about when teachers got ripped, where we had 4 million, then each year it went down, and then we had to rip teachers. We do not want that.
So am I wrong in saying in the August, minutes or whatever, there wasn't like 4.7 million in the operations fund? in
Not right now.
August?
There's 4.8 right now.
Where's 3.7?
Or sorry, education, but it's in education.
Yeah.
But that's like the way I understand it, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say you have your checkbook, and this corporation goes through millions of dollars a year. So you have your checkbook, but you have to have, I think ours ranges from 2.5 million to 4 something, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that's what you need to maintain in that account. It's kinda like your own checkbook, you can't run it down to the bottom. It's just the way things flow in and flow out, you have to keep a certain amount in there.
Is there a prescripted number that's in bylaws somewhere that is the absolute minimum you need in there?
No, but I believe Mr. LaGrange said that our number was similar to schools he'd been at before.
And how did those districts fare and those teachers, sir?
I'm sorry,
How did those districts and those teachers fare?
fair, what do you mean, how did they feel?
How did they come out in contracting years in the districts that you were in that had similar budgets?
Well, the most recent Indiana district I was in had increasing ADM, so therefore,
At a fair rate?
would that be a fair,
You said an increasing ADM.
our student enrollment was increasing,
Mhm.
so our revenue increased.
Okay,
And
so the teachers' pay rates, how did they go?
they increased.
At a fair rate?
Well, they thought so.
Congruent with
I think they-
inflation?
I think they thought so, yeah.
Okay.
So in turn, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
In turn, if we aren't attracting students, I know that Crawford County and West Washington both have really been advertising their online program. Is that something that we have looked at so that we can still have those students qualified as North Harrison students and put on a computer? Their education, I promise you, will not be the same as in the four walls of our classrooms. But is that something, that seems to be working? If other, I don't know, is that something that our corporation has looked into?
I have a meeting next Tuesday about it.
Great.
I assumed when I came in the door we had it because everybody's got it. And I found out that we don't. So I have a meeting next Tuesday about it.
That sounds promising, thank you.
Well, and they say too, but all these teachers are leaving. I've been here, this is my 5th year as a teacher, and I am in like the top 10 in seniority in in the building. There's like 15, 20 teachers that are a young group with less seniority than me, and I've only been teaching for 5 years. I think that's kind of saying something. And Megan mentioned that Ken Opal Bleed Blue, his own niece came here for a year and went back to her district that was farther away from her house because she could get better pay and better insurance and all of that. So I think that's kind of telling too. That these people are leaving here, they stay for a year and then they leave.
And I don't know that it's just the pay. I don't know that that's your only factor on losing teachers. Because I can tell you right now, I've left employers for a lot less that had nothing to do with pay, but had an awful lot to do with how it's being managed.
Can anyone tell me anything about how I've heard different corporations through the years invest in their staff and invest in the kids if they have to do deficit spending for a year or two? What's your feelings on that, since you act like you don't have any money moved away out of the fund that would pay us? Would deficit spending be something that you could enter into to say, you know, to get to point B, I've got to go through point A, instead of just tightening the screws and you know, seeing what happens? Well, we've already seen what happens. Would that be a consideration? Have you ever seen that work anywhere, or have you ever heard of it?
Who's the question?
You, I said Mr. LaGrange, is who I said.
Well,
I mean, I don't know, I'm just asking you, I've heard about it.
here's what I would say. I've dedicated my life to public education. You can't convince me that the teachers are important. I believe that. I've dedicated my life to it. I've done it. We're talking about a complex problem, and there's not typically easy solutions to complex problems. I've been here for about 20 minutes, okay? And many of the things that you're talking about are problems. No, I would be the first to say, yeah, it's a problem. And we have to find some solutions to them. And that's what we'll do. I mean, I don't know that we're gonna find a solution tonight in this moment, but that's why I'm here.
I guess I'm just really confused, because I knew Nathan prior to him coming to our school. And in talking to him, I mean, I hate to think that he would lie to me, but I mean, he acted as if this corporation was in fine shape and we were good to go. And then just all of a sudden, he's gone and the money's gone. I'm not saying that he said we were flourishing in dollars everywhere.
But administration has guaranteed raises.
But yeah, he just acted like, Chuck, things are gonna be fine for you here, you know? And now all of a sudden, we act like we got, you know,
So the
morsels.
The
It just
revenue
doesn't make
comes
any
from
sense.
enrollment.
Huh?
The revenue comes from enrollment in the education fund. And 9 out of the last 10 years, we've had.
But what happened this last year to make the big difference from what I felt like he was
lost
letting?
23 kids from last year.
23, so that's,
So in the last 4 years, we've lost 93 kids. And if you put 93 kids times what a kid is worth through the education formula this year, for us, it's about 8,300. So you're talking about 771,000-ish, right? So why kids are leaving, where they're going, where they're coming from, you know, again, complex problems gonna take some time for me to dig into, right? Again, because I've been here for 20 minutes. But this is not a problem that just popped up. This has been a problem for 10 years. We've lost 174 kids in the last 10 years.
I guess that's the problem with the public
1.4
education right
million.
now. Because if I were coaching football here again, and I were losing kids over and over and over and over, and we were losing 8 or 9, 10 games, you'd be firing me, and you'd be kicking me out. But the superintendents who are, numbers go down, they get hired somewhere else. I mean, they still, a football coach with that kind of a record wouldn't be getting hired. So I don't understand how that doesn't correlate. I mean, if I were a school board in another system and a principal or, superintendent came in, why would I be hiring them?
So there's
I just don't understand how that's gonna work.
Again, it's a complex problem. So, the single biggest thing that I've seen impact a school corporation's enrollment in my life, in my experience, is housing, which none of us have any control over here, right? Our house, back to my last district, Indiana, why did the ADM go up? I think we had good programs, we had good teachers like we do here. We also had housing projects going up, and families moved in, and kids came into the district. And it wasn't because I was a good superintendent, I had no control over the housing, right? But our enrollment went up, so we're able to give awesome teacher raises, right? So for last 9 out of 10 years, that's the opposite's been happening here. Again, it hasn't snuck up, but it is what it is. I mean, we have a complex problem, and here's what I will say. We need to get to work, and we need to work together and try and figure it out.
Well, as a furloughed employee, I have plenty of time to come work with you on it.
So, do we still have the same amount of staff as we did 10 years ago? Because I don't feel like we do. And if we do, that seems like that could be something that maybe should have been taken care of as the numbers decline. You have less help.
That's a good question.
And I think that's gonna be something that I don't wanna hear us starting to talk about. So, I don't want that put on us again, like it was in '05. Oh, you're wanting a raise, well, we're gonna have to get rid of all these teachers, which is what happened. We didn't get a raise, and we still lost a ton of teachers.
How much are your non-teaching staff being paid?
I had a few other things. I do want to thank every single one of you that spoke tonight, and I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everything that you do for our school. My kids went to this school, my grandkids are gonna go to North Harrison, love this school, and we do appreciate absolutely everything that you do. And we know that you are the front line to our students, and you are giving them the best that you can, and we appreciate it all that we can. And we will try to give you the very best that we can. But we are restricted. And I have a few other things I wanted to say. Okay. I wanted to congratulate our high school cross-country team at the Mid-Southern Conference meet. and Jacqueline Goodman for making Mid-Southern Conference honorable mention. I'd like to congratulate Madeline Spencer, and she is our high school national merit semifinalist. Congratulations to her. I know our band members aren't here, most of them aren't here now, but they've done a phenomenal job this season. They took first place in Scholastic Class B1 at the Floyd Central competition, as well as Best Percussion, Best Color Guard, and Best Scholastic Picture. And they got their gold rating when competing in the Indiana State School Music Association preliminary contest in Jasper, and will be advancing to state October 25th. So congratulations there. And I do very much appreciate every one of you. I want to say that again, how much I appreciate you coming. I listened to everything that you said, and I feel confident in the superintendent that we have now, that we are going to address these issues, and I personally would appreciate any thoughts or ideas that you can on any of the areas that we can improve. Thank you.
I wanted to say congratulations on your grant there that you got. You had an article in the paper today. Awesome.
And I get to congratulate Morgan Elementary, received a $13,900 grant from Project Lead the Way. Congratulations, Tammy, and your crew. NHE Fall Festival's tomorrow night too. I love the fall festivals. And love to come out and see all the kids and see all the activities and see the facilities and stuff and see everything that everybody's doing. And I hear everybody's concerns. It's a tough situation we're in right now, but I feel like we've got a leader here that's been a teacher, that's been a coach, that likes to win and likes to solve these tough issues. And I think together we'll get there. And I just hope that we can all work together on get through this bump in the road and get to where we need to be again. Nope.
Okay.
Nope, I've worked with 700 Teamsters before.
So a couple things. One, I want to acknowledge Judy Jeffries, whose retirement was on the docket tonight. It's kind of weird because she's announced it, but she's not leaving us yet. She's going to be here until December 12th. She was gracious enough to give us an early heads up. She's gracious enough to stay and give us some more of her time and training. Because she's not leaving yet, we're going to give her a proper exit in the next month or so. But I wanted to acknowledge it tonight. We'll do the pomp and circumstance and fuss over her soon. But I wanted to acknowledge and thank you for everything you've done for our district, and wish you a very, very, very happy. Tonight, I want to thank you. I buy every word that was said. I believe every word that was said. I share every sentiment that was shared. You didn't have to convince me of anything. I believe all of that. I've lived it my whole life. My dad was an educator. My sisters are educators. I've got 73,000 cousins who are educators. Like, I'm an education brat. Like, again, I've dedicated my life to this. So I hear you, I believe you, and I know that there are special people here. I'll also say, I think this is not an excuse. I think it's a reality. I've been here for 20 minutes, all right? And what's in front of us, what's in front of all of us, what's in front of me, what's in front of them, what's in front of you, again, is a complex problem. And there's no Staples easy button. But I do believe, as John Kennedy said, our problems are man-made, therefore they can be fixed by man, right? We can fix these problems, especially if we don't turn on each other and we work together and listen to each other and we collaborate, which I believe we will. So I appreciate those of you who spoke tonight. I appreciate what you said. And I will tell you this, I'm gonna work day and night to address the problems and to try to turn this thing around. And that's my pledge to you. I will work my tail off to fix it.
Appreciate that.
I echo the same thing. I'd like to thank everyone who came and spoke tonight. I was trying to keep count, I lost count, so I appreciate you coming up and very eloquently speaking, passionate about that. I would also like to congratulate Judy as well, and Kate Harmon. Kate Harmon will be leading this as well. And I've only worked with Judy 2 years, right? I mean, so, but it's been very enjoyable, and I appreciate all that you do. Yeah. So, I also wanted to highlight our,
I heard she was leaving because of you.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. I'd also like to thank our 6th grade teachers for the camping trip that they put on this past month. The 7th graders, if you weren't aware, did not get to go last May due to a tornado that came through Nashville, Indiana. And they stepped up and made sure that the kiddos were able to attend, and it's very much appreciated. That's a blast of a camp. If any board members could ever go up, I think you would really enjoy that, to see just all the work that's put into it and also the smile on the kids' faces. Also, I want to thank the band for helping us out with the trailer. That was great cooperative teamwork with that, and our maintenance for helping out behind the scenes as well, providing, hooking up the truck for us and getting everything in order. Over fall break, I just appreciate our maintenance and custodial staff for all that they have done to help beautify our campus and to help with that. And also I'd like to congratulate our band for their state qualification. That is getting back to whenever I was in school. For those of you that back in the late 90s, right? That was what the bar was, the expectation. So I feel like we're headed back in that direction. That's very exciting. So thank you again. Sorry I talked too long. Gee, I hope it wasn't good.
I was joking.
It's recommended that the meeting be adjourned at 8:25 p.m.
I'll make the motion.
No second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
See everybody.
Good job, Jim. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your speech.
Well, here's the thing. I was telling Megan, I said, let's make sure it's on. Touch it. Is that it? Just go for it.
Because there's a crowd, right?
Wait, it's down here. Stop. We'll watch this conversation. What I was telling her was that
Just leave 32 chairs in here if you're moving.
they know that they can't let's find something.
You did stop it? Okay, thank you. Did it?